You don't notice the danger at first. The cold sabotages the obvious threats. Your eyes are focused on the dark, the dead heater, the breath turning into little ghosts drifting toward the ceiling. But the real problem is living 3 doors down, 4 walls away, counting their shrinking food supply and wondering who still has heat, water, or anything worth taking. You're not in a blackout. You're in a slow-motion siege, a quiet war, wrapped in ice. Because winter doesn't just freeze your pipes. It freezes people's judgment and desperate humans, backed into a corner by physics, biology, and bad decisions, become more dangerous than the storm. Let's break down the science before the stupidity takes over. Cold removes options. Below freezing, your body burns calories like a panicked furnace. Blood vessels constrict to protect your core, leaving fingers and rationality equally undersupplied. Sleep becomes shallow. Thinking becomes slow. You turn defensive, territorial, suspicious. Multiply that by every house on your block. And congratulations, you're all starring in a neighborhood-wide psychological meltdown. Now add the collapse of infrastructure. No water pressure. No phone signal. No heat. Every house becomes an island. Every person becomes a variable, and you need to stay 3 steps ahead. Here are your survival methods to outlast the ice war without turning into the villain of your own winter saga. Method 1. The temperature trap. What to do? Shrink your living space fast. Block off unused rooms with blankets, furniture, or anything that stops airflow. Create a microclimate in the smallest room you can tolerate, preferably one with no big windows. Why it works? Thermodynamics is brutally simple. Less volume means the heat your body generates stays trapped. You become your own furnace. By concentrating heat in one zone, you reduce the visible signs of warmth leaking outdoors. Fewer clues for wandering neighbors wondering who still has a warm house. What happens if you fail? Your heat disperses. Windows betray you. Condensation glows like a signal flare. Someone cold and desperate walks by your fogged-up glass and decides they're not walking past your house again. Reduced efficiency means you burn through calories, water, and sanity faster. Simple items anyone can find. Blankets, plastic bags to well-stuck tap of furniture you don't like. Method 2. The soundless survival rule. What to do? Operate silently. No banging doors, no heavy footsteps, no dragging furniture, no yelling across rooms. Winter amplifies sound over ice like a megaphone. Why it works? Sound travels farther in cold air because it's denser. That means anyone within 1 or 2 houses can hear you working, cooking, breaking things, or just living more comfortably than they are. The quieter you are, the less likely you broadcast the fact that you still have resources worth taking. What happens if you fail? Someone hears you. Someone assumes you have something they don't. Someone becomes bold. Curiosity turns into envy, envy into decisions. Decisions into people knocking on your door with intentions that are colder than the storm. Outside. Simple items anyone can find. Rug spill is blanks. Clothing, anything soft to pad doors and floors. Method 3. The water shadow. Plan what to do. Collect and melt snow indoors but out of sight. Back rooms only. Use body heat, insulated containers, or stored warmth from before the blackout to melt small batches. Filter everything, even if it looks clean. Why it works? Snow is a universal survival resource, which also makes it a universal target. If you're seen hauling snow, people assume you're melting it successfully. That means you have fuel, or at least knowledge, and that raises your risk profile. Melting small amounts protects your privacy and stretches your effort. Boiling would expose you with noise and smell, and besides, we're avoiding fire unless absolutely necessary. What happens if you fail? You're spotted carrying buckets. You become the neighborhood's unofficial water supply. That ends poorly. Meanwhile, untreated snow carries bacteria, microdebris, and chemical pollutants from the atmosphere. Drink it straight, and you'll be too sick to defend anything. Simple items anyone can find. Plastic container sold potscloth for filtering, Zix for pre-filtering. Method 4. The heat signature. Bluff what to do. Mask any heat leak with layered curtains, cardboard, furniture, or even pack snow on the outside. Keep lights dim if you have battery power. heat rises, so insulate ceilings or upper-level rooms heavily. Why it works. Anyone freezing will look for signs of warmth. Fogged windows, slight light bleeding through curtains, a patch of melted snow on your roof. These are the bright neon signs of a home that's doing better than the others. And in a blackout winter crisis, doing better is enough to spark conflict. Insulation keeps heat in and attention out. What happens if you fail? A warm roof, a glowing window, a suspiciously melted path through the snow. These are invitations. And the cold makes ration-based thinking vanish. People who wouldn't bother you yesterday suddenly think your heat should be shared today. Simple. Items anyone can find. Cardboard blanket, clothes, trash bags, books, and magazines as insulation layers. Method 5. The human behavior firewall. What to do? Set clear physical boundaries around your home with objects, tracks, or obstacles. Nothing aggressive, just subtle barriers. A pile of snow in a pathway, a garden tool leaning near an entry, a porch blocked by furniture. These make your place look inconvenient rather than inviting. Why it works? Humans avoid effort when they're cold. They conserve energy instinctively. Simple obstacles signal that your home is not the easiest target. Also, territorial cues tap into primal avoidance behavior. People don't like entering spaces that look controlled, defended, or recently occupied by someone alert. What happens if you fail? People come right up to your door. They peek through windows. They test handles. They treat your home like a public building instead of a line they're not meant to cross. And once someone crosses the boundary, they never forget it. Simple items anyone can find. Snow-old furniture or brooms, garden pots, empty bins or crates. Method 6. The cold light strategy. What to do? Use low-intensity, low-temperature lighting like solar garden lights, chemical glow sticks, or tiny LED cocaine lights. Keep them in the smallest room possible, facing inward. Why it works? Light leaks are worse than sound leaks. In a blackout, any light is a lighthouse. But humans need visual comfort for psychological stability. Small, low-heat lights give you the ability to see and function without sending a signal across the block. They produce minimal warmth, minimal shadows, and almost no window glow. What happens if you fail? Your window becomes a billboard reading "Someone here has power," and in a frozen neighborhood, people will follow the light. Maybe for help, maybe for charity, maybe for something else entirely. Simple items anyone can find. Solar path lights glow. Sticks can let small battery as reflective surfaces to maximize indoor illumination. You now know how to survive the blackout ice war, not just by fighting the cold, but by avoiding detection from the people fighting it worse than you. Now take all of this and condense it into the list that matters when everything is failing. Survival checklist. Shrink your living space. Move silently. Mold snow. Privatelli. Hide heat signatures. Create subtle barriers. Low heat lights only hold the line. Winter is patient, but so are you. Any insulated cup or bottle,